So you've done research on the impact of COVID-19 on fundraisers within the arts and the cultural sectors in the UK. Drawing on your insights, can you describe the dynamics between universities and NGOs in partnership?
Well, I'm just going to go back a little bit because it was as a result of the research that I did on fundraising studies and fundraising looking at the impact that I started to become really interested in the relationship between digital technologies and supporting nonprofits. So when I moved to the University of York, I already had some experience doing research on fundraising, especially with the COVID-19 survey and interviews that we did. But what I hadn't done before was the idea of working with people that knew about digital technologies. And because now I am still based at the University of York and working with colleagues in this field of digital technologies, it was an opportunity for me to sort of bring both things together, the studies that I had done on fundraising with the application of digital technologies. But it wasn't just an idea that came up because I had moved to an environment where people knew about digital technologies. It was also because out of the survey that I did on COVID-19, it became very apparent, especially when doing the interviews, because we did survey and interviews, that there was a lot of disenfranchisement in terms of whether nonprofits were able to use digital technologies or not, or to what extent. So the survey and interviews, what really revealed was huge disparities in the field of nonprofit, in the arts and culture I'm talking about here. Some organizations, for instance, were very readily able to engage with technology and to provide recordings online so that people could still experience their content and engage with the organization. But very small size nonprofits did not have the ability because they did not have the resources or the knowledge and expertise to deal with anything to do with digital. And then is when I came to the University of York, and with this background, I developed a project that is a collaboration. And this is sort of the question that you're asking me about collaborations. And in this collaboration, what I did was to work with a nonprofit, a very small nonprofit in York, the Council for British Archaeology, and with a colleague who is an expert on digital technologies, Professor John Hook. And what we plan to do, and we've already finished this project, was to create digital materials for the organization so that they could use them to support their fundraising, to encourage more fundraising. We've done the project, and the project was funded through a Master's by Research scholarship, where we had a student working on the project for a whole year. So she did a lot of interviews, but she also produced what is called an interactive documentary for the CBA, the Council for British Archaeology. And this interactive documentary was about raising awareness about how ethnic minorities engage with archaeology. It's been very successful. Finally, the interactive documentary is online, but it also did raise a lot of issues for us as a research group bringing this project together. And that once we were able to commit and to produce something that was a digital tool, our nonprofit in particular was struggling to be able to use those materials because they did not have the resources. So it was very good to collaborate with researchers for them because we create a lot of data, we interview them, and we also produce something that was a tangible output. What we did not have was the ability to then support the nonprofit in, for instance, updating this digital material and also knowing how to incorporate it, even things as simple as how to put it on the website. So what it became apparent to me is that the collaboration between the university and the nonprofit was fine, but it was lacking in something. And the other dimension that it was lacking was an engagement with businesses that were able to provide solutions to this conundrum that we had. We've done all the research. We've told you, about ethnic minorities engaging with archaeology. We've done the interactive documentary, but from a management perspective, we did not succeed because the nonprofit was struggling with the materials, with making them accessible. Now, to cut a long story short, the materials are now available on the website, but the model that I'm discussing here is that there is a lack then of engagement with businesses that have a lot of ideas about innovation and especially could bring a lot of expertise about how to support this specific nonprofit or other nonprofits that find themselves in a similar situation. Having digital materials produced through research projects, but that they're not able to utilize them as much as they would like, and even to update them. in order to continue this path, I did continue to apply for funding and work with a business, a small business in Yorkshire, but we weren't successful. So that meant that the nonprofit again was sort of, trying to find out how we can do this. We wanted to improve the quality of the materials that we had produced to make them more, accessible to the people that watch them. But it didn't happen. And in the end, the nonprofit has been fine. It's got what we produce on the website. But for me, I had a lot of, thinking to do in terms of how research collaborations are set up. And as I said, university and nonprofits is fantastic collaboration, but we do also need the input from businesses that are able to provide us with solutions about how to make these materials available in the long term and how to update them.
Excellent.